Welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio, 365 Sports. As you see behind me, one of our newest and most fantastic sponsors, BetUS.com. That's BetUS.com. Listen, use promo code SICKM125, 125% sign-up bonus, or SICKM200, 200% bonus if you sign up using cryptocurrency to make that deposit. And Barry Barger joins us now from BetUS, and Barry's going to join us every week to kind of give us the lowdown on what's going on and where you should point that money when you're gambling. Barry, thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited about this partnership. And right now, before the football season, where are you seeing the numbers and the money go towards the futures bets? What kind of things, what kind of action are you seeing right now?
Well, here's the thing. That's a great question. Not planned, but this is a huge one because everybody's on Alabama, of course, for the national championship. But here's the big one: is Georgia's 5-1 to win it, and they have like 20 or 22 returning starters. Bama's, they lost their quarterback. Half the teams. I mean, you had Clemson lose Trevor Lawrence. You had Ohio State. I mean, so this is a big opening for Georgia, who basically their team's been right there almost every year. And this is a chance to maybe catch Alabama flip it. I mean, it's going to be a defensive year for Alabama, and I say slip, and I say a possibility because obviously they just slide them right in there. They have the number one recruiting class every year, but Georgia has more 5-stars in the last 3 years than anybody, 5-star recruits. And this is it's just that little gap that Alabama lost, I think, 7 starters on offense, I believe. They lost Heisman, they lost quarterback, and they lost. So they actually, of course, they have backups that are probably almost as good, but Georgia, they've been playing together. There's something to be said about playing with the same teammates in an almost championship way and getting another year experience. Plus, Georgia's defense is pretty damn good too. I mean, Alabama's going to probably rule D, but was that what you looked for?
Yeah,
that was the thing that came to mind.
Yeah. Barry,
and it's 5-1. I think that's going to go down. I think they beat Clemson too.
Barry, it seems to be like a group at the top: Bama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and then I think Oklahoma kind of rounds that out. And then there's kind of a massive, gap, I guess, between them and then that second tier. In that second tier, I mean, right there near the top, Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher's been there for a little while now. They do replace a starting quarterback, so, that's always a wild card, although I know there's a lot of confidence in Haynes King, but they're pretty loaded up elsewhere. What's your feelings on the Aggies entering this year?
Well, the Aggies, I've got good feelings on the Aggies this year. They actually are one of the others. This is bizarre because these are the two teams that I've been looking at, because at 28-1 to win the BCS national championship, I think that's what they are now, 28-1, or to the NCAA. And these guys, A&M, you sure can't count out because, first of all, with their defense and their offense, and they need some improvements, I've got to admit. But when I looked at what they had coming back, and, boy, I wish I could remember names right off the top of my head. But these guys look like a 15, like literally they're paying off twice as much, in my opinion, that they should. Now, whether they actually win it or not, who knows? But you've also got a lot of things you can make money on here too, because you've got over and under on wins this season. So when you're looking at that, like everybody's going to underrate LSU also, because LSU had a horrible season. Like LSU has 8.5 wins as their total, and Texas A&M. This is a place where you can make money on some of these prop bets, because you got to tie your money up a little bit. But 9.5 wins, and you're paying -115 either side. So it's finding these nuggets early, because after the first week, there's usually quite a bit of adjustments. And I wouldn't be surprised, even before the first week of football, like something like Georgia would go down to 4-1 or 3.5-1, because it's everything I see just points to this is their chance. This is their year. A&M, they're another one with an opportunity. They don't have the opportunity Georgia does, but in this after last year, it's hard to really bank on everything that happened last year because it was a shortened season. You got the Pac-10 and Big Ten hanging out before they weren't going to play at all. They come back. Some teams played 7 games. Some teams played 10. So it's going to be interesting because with the fans too. So it's great. I mean, you think about some of these powerhouses that have great fan following. You have to think that's going to pump up some of those teams too. I mean, some of these intangibles, I really think matter. I usually go by stats, past performances, who they're returning, all this kind of stuff. But some of those intangibles, like the fans, I saw a thing on ESPN. They did a top 5 fan places the other night. And it was great because I think I know everything about football, and I saw some traditions that I didn't even know. I mean, I knew about Clemson's, the way they come out when they come down the hill, and all that. But there's always something that's in there that's pretty cool. And the fans, it's just 2 years, so it's going to be insane at these games. You know how much fun this year is going to be? NFL too.
All right, so you mentioned you sent me an email earlier, and I'm very excited about in coming weeks because you're like what Barry's going to do for us is not only tell us where the public's betting, but give us some insight on where the wise guys are going with this, and that's always interesting to track. Barry, for me, is where where people want to go and where the guys who do this for a living go. So that'll be interesting here in the coming weeks.
This is a great thing, and I'm so glad that I got it through for the year. This is like having inside info right from the sports book, because when you have, I'm going to give you a quick example, and we can explain next week, but say if you have 70% of the money on the favorite, or 70% of the bettors on the favorite, but you have 60 or 70% of the money on the other one, it's a really easy tell to tell where the smart money is. And so this inside stuff will help you get ahead of the game by, if you're not too proud, to go with what the smart bet is instead of what you think, or, you don't want to bet your team, obviously, because then that's a double lose if they lose. Don't bet with your heart.
Believe me, Barry, that's really good advice. Like, I've lost so many lunches, betting with my heart.
Right.
I should bet with my head and also not my stomach. But you mentioned Baylor right now is a 40-1 odd to win the Big 12 championship. Is that a good bet for someone to make? I mean, again, not knowing, especially we cover Baylor. There's a lot we don't even know about them yet because there's so many new factors at play.
Right, and with Baylor, here's one place where if you want to bet with your heart a little bit on these, these speculative proposition bets. I mean, if you're betting something that with that kind of odds, to put $5 to win 200 or $10, that's worth it. What I think you should stay away from is betting your weekly 100 a game or 200 a game on, your heart games. But as far as A&M goes, their offense, they've got a bunch of great receivers, and their defense. Oh, he's got some guy, the transfer from LSU, right on the front end.
Yeah, Apu.
I mean, so that should be So they should be stronger there. So, 41 sounds high. So I don't really know. Their offense is going to have to take a jump, and I know you've got a second-year coach there, and you lost a guy to the pros, right? What's his name?
Matt Rule and Dave Aranda, yeah.
Matt Rule, yeah, right. So, so this, second year, and last year, like I said, it's a shortened season. You get your offense clicking. People get used to the offense a little bit, and I think that's going to be the telltale, and that's the biggest worry to me for Baylor. They have a lot of guys on defense that played plenty last year, but the offense is kind of the wild card. They've got a few, the quarterback. I mean, he was like, he was in the top 3 or something in yards at Baylor, and then he transferred out to Utah, right? What's his name? Charlie
Brewer.
Yeah. So I don't know how your guys. I suppose there's a couple of guys going for the top spot, or do we have a front runner yet out there?
We do and don't. I mean, it's hard to gauge right now based on the spring. You think one thing going to the spring practice, the spring game, and then after the spring game, you think, I don't know. They've got 3 guys going for it right now. So,
and then the press, between the press, the public, and social, you've got so much crap out there that it's hard to know what to believe and what's real, kind of thing. There's so much speculation and so much stuff that comes across as fact that people are just giving opinions, basically. So, got to do your research on that stuff if you're going to bet on them.
Yeah. All right, Barry, BetUS, great stuff that they have available. Again, our promo code SICK'EM125 for the 125% bonus, SICK'EM200 for crypto. You get 200% bonus if you sign up with crypto. Live betting on every NFL game and many of the NCAA games, and plus live betting on golf, which most people don't have. You guys, I'll let you plug BetUS real quick before we let you go. All the different things you guys have that maybe a lot of people don't.
Right, online casino, got the horse book, you got all that stuff, and the crypto thing. I mean, that's a great charge to get onto that thing, because that's going to be a nice head start for you. They just put that out this year. We just put out the codes like a week ago, and so you're on the front end of something that just started when you're getting that. That's a beautiful thing, and I wanted to give them out last week, and they wouldn't let me. I'm like, I want these people to get to 200. I want to get to 200. It's like, well, but no. And we also, in our locker room too, for help, there's plenty. We got great writers, and I've written plenty in there, and videos, and podcast stuff that gives you information. So it helps you get a little more information to make your decisions too. There's articles on every game, and there's a side, and you're given facts. So it cuts you through the information, hodgepodge out there, a lot of these things. So I would say check it out. I mean, it's got everything possible there, really. It's insane. It's insane how much they've got. It's awesome. I've been with these guys for off and on for 10 years, so.
Awesome. Well, Barry, appreciate it. We'll talk to you again week to week, and I'll be in touch next week, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
I can't wait. All right. Enjoy.
All right. That's Barry Barger, BetUS.com. Again, our promo code SICK'EM125. That's SICK'EM125 or SICK'EM200 if you're going to use crypto. So 125% bonus on cash deposits over 100 and SICK'EM 200 for crypto. And I don't know anything really about crypto other than I know what it is and that it exists. I don't have any, So, but if you have some and want to bet it on sports, SICK'EM200 at BetUS.com. All right, when we come back, Grayson Grundhafer, SICK'EM 365. This is SICK'EM 365 Radio on 365 Sports.
Y'all listen up.